Hey guys, welcome to our first video in the 5 options when you've been sued series. And this first option is filing bankruptcy. Now, if you are being threatened with suit, if you've been sued, whether it's by an original creditor or a debt collector, then you probably are seeing ads for bankruptcy attorneys. You may be getting letters from bankruptcy attorneys, and so many lawyers do bankruptcy now. And so this won't be a surprise to you this is an option, but let's talk about the good and the bad. And let me say this, there's a lot of people that when we mention this to them, they go, oh, I would never do bankruptcy. It's like, well, let's just consider it, okay? I personally am not a fan of it for most people. I think it can be very effective. I think it's misused oftentimes, but we need to look at it, okay? We don't need to just throw it off the table without looking at it. And the reverse is true too. Sometimes people say, I'm definitely filing bankruptcy. That's all I need to do. Just will you file bankruptcy? It's like, well, wait a minute. Let's find out. I mean, I've had people that were victims of identity theft that were going to file bankruptcy. And I'm like, no. We're going to beat this lawsuit and then we're going to sue these guys and get you money. They're like, oh, well, I thought all I could do is file bankruptcy. So what are the advantages of filing bankruptcy? Well, when you file bankruptcy, with certain exceptions, but generally there's something called the automatic stay that comes in. And that freezes any lawsuit. Now you still need to let the court know, let the other side know that you filed bankruptcy. Normally your bankruptcy attorney will do that. And then if you file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and you get to the end of that, what's called the discharge, it'll wipe out this lawsuit unless it's some type of exempt debt. Okay, like generally student loans, you're going to have a very hard time doing that. But for everything else, you should be able to wipe out the debt. And there's no attorney's fees that you're paying to defend you in court. Now you pay the bankruptcy lawyer fees. And you don't have to go to court in terms of the collection lawsuit. Okay? So what are the disadvantages? Well, one, you now have filed bankruptcy. And either you have filed bankruptcy or you've never filed bankruptcy. When you go to apply for a loan, sometimes security clearances, sometimes job applications, they'll ask you, have you ever filed bankruptcy? Generally now they limit it to about the last 10 years, but some will just say, have you ever filed bankruptcy? Well, you got to answer that truthfully. And filing bankruptcy is a very dramatic tool, a very dramatic weapon to use. And that obviously is very damaging to your credit. Now, you may have your credit already very damaged, and so it may not bring it down that much more, but it certainly is not a positive thing on your credit to file bankruptcy. And once you kind of play that card, well, then it's many years before you can use it again. So what do we recommend? See if you can do any other option. See if any of the other 4 options make sense. And again, in the next video, we'll cover option number 2. And also see, just imagine I've got a crystal ball here, and I look in this crystal ball. What does 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now look like? Does it look like things are going to get better for me, staying the same, or going down? That makes a difference. You know, are we just in a bad spot, but we're getting a bonus at the end of the year, we're getting more income next year, maybe we have a small business and it's really starting to hum along? Or are we in a situation where we're in kind of a dying job, hours are being cut, salaries being cut, commissions are being cut? And so you've got to know that to understand, can you pull out of this? So imagine you're in a plane and it's kind of diving toward the ground. Can you pull out of that? If you can without bankruptcy, then I would be very reluctant to file bankruptcy because of the damage that does to you. But if you say, hey, you know what, there's no hope. I mean, I've got $200,000 in unsecured debt and I make $10 an hour and I have no other prospect. Well, yeah, let's look at filing bankruptcy. Maybe you don't have assets that would be at risk. So it definitely is an option. I would use it as a last option, sort of an extreme solution. And when it's needed, it's extremely effective. But let's not use it when it's not needed. This is an example I've used many times. If my little, this finger was hurt and you said, hey, John, I got a solution for it. It'll make this finger stop hurting. I go, great. It's just killing me. And you chop off my arm. Well, I mean, yeah, that fixed my finger hurting, but I didn't need that dramatic of a solution. So you've been sued for $2,000 or $5,000, and that's the only thing that's really a problem. Filing bankruptcy is a pretty dramatic, that's kind of like cutting off your arm. We got some more precise things that we can do here, and we'll cover those in the next video. So feel free to watch the next video, and I'll catch you guys in that one. And thanks a lot for watching this. Bye-bye.